What's up, comic? Fucking it up already with the fucking intro here, guys. I wonder if we're going to say fuck as much as they do in this movie, Brian.
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. I
No.
think I don't think we could do it.
Yeah, I feel like in Deadpool and Wolverine, which is what we're talking about today, they say fuck about as much as they do in like Goodfellas.
Man, I don't think there's a scene without multiple F-bombs.
Yes. So today, me and my good friend over there, Brian, are going to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, the 34th Marvel movie in the MCU. And it's actually our 15th Marvel movie that we've covered on this channel. Did you know that?
No, I didn't count that up there, but that makes sense.
Yeah, we started with Black Widow. What's that?
We started with Phase 4, everyone's favorite.
Yes, everyone's favorite. And so I think it's our 15th because it's whenever Black Widow started. So I need to like count from there. But guys, this is what we're going to do. I know the movie just came out like yesterday. So we're going to talk a little bit without any spoilers. We're actually going to do our rankings of the MCU and the Fox X-Men movies. And with our Fox X-Men movie rankings, though, we've included other characters that are like adjacent to this movie. So that's when we're going to hit spoiler territory.
Okay.
But Brian, do you want to start us off or do you want me to start off with the MCU rankings?
I'm going to blaze through this because there's 33 movies. Wait,
34.
Oh, what am I missing then? What was the last movie?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, oh, you bastard.
The Marvels.
Which one?
The Marvels.
Oh, I don't have the Marvels in here. So
you want me to do my list? All right.
Yeah.
My list, for those of you keeping track at home, and I know that some of you guys are like faithful watchers. I appreciate y'all. You guys have probably heard me and Brian go through these lists before. You guys will notice that my lists have changed dramatically over the time. So I'm going to start off Quantumania. I used to always have Incredible Hulk at the end there, but Quantumania, I think, is my least favorite MCU movie. I really have no desire to go back to it again. There's quite a few at the bottom here that I just don't ever feel like rewatching. All right, 34, yeah. Quantumania. 33, Love and Thunder. It was fighting for that last spot.
Whoa!
I really don't like Love and Thunder. It's got gore. It's got Christian Bale. It's based on a lot of things that we love. I do not like that movie.
Whoa!
It's going to be a difference in rankings for me and Brian today. 32 now, once again, Incredible Hulk. It just kind of feels like it's not even part of this series with a different actor playing Bruce Banner. 31, Iron Man 2, usually at the bottom of a lot of people's MCU ranking lists. 30 is Thor: The Dark World. Once again, like a lot of times this is at the bottom of people's lists. 29 is you know what I did? I wrote them all in chronological order, then I wrote their ranking next to it. Multiverse of Madness is 29 for me. Yeah. You're going to see there's a lot of Phase 4 and Phase 5 stuff at the bottom of my list. 28 is Ant-Man, the original one. 27, Wakanda Forever. 26, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 25 is, let me fucking find it. Hold on a sec. Holy shit, where's my 25? I'm sorry. I don't see my 25 on here. I'm just going to go to my 20. Wow. I really should have wrote this out just in ranking order. I see 23 on here. Maybe I'll find 25 later. 23 is Captain Marvel. 22 is
24 also.
Yeah, I know. I can't find it. I'll find it though. 22 is Eternals. 21 is the Marvels. 20 is Shang-Chi. 19 is Black Widow. 18 is Spider-Man Homecoming. 17 is Deadpool and Wolverine. So that shows you kind of how I feel about this movie we're going to talk about today. 16 is Spider-Man No Way Home. 15 is why is it so hard to find all the ones with the 5s on here? 15. Do I like Thor?
Write this down.
15 is Thor. 14 is Far From Home. 13 is Iron Man 3. 12 is.
Wait. You have Far From Home ranked higher than No Way Home?
Well, I guess technically lower, right? Lower on my list.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You like Far From Home better than No Way Home.
Brian, what are you trying to do to me, man? No, I fucking hate Far From Home. I put it as 14.
Is that supposed to be 24?
I don't like Far From Home. No Way Home I have. Oh shit! I put No Way Home as 16. Far From Home should be 16. No Way Home should be 14. It's because the titles are so damn similar.
I can I'm fine with opinions like that, but sometimes there's like some objectionality here, you know.
Of course, I'm very eager to hear yours, which I'm guessing is much more organized. 12 is going to be Captain America: The First Avenger. 11 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. 10 is Captain America: Civil War. 9 is the original Iron Man. 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. 7 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 5 is Thor Ragnarok. 4 is the Avengers, the original Avengers movie. 3 is going to be Black Panther. 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And my number one pick for a while now is Avengers: Infinity War.
Wait, where was Endgame?
Endgame was my number 9. I might not have said it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the 10, like the top 10 always will have like Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Guardian, like pretty much all the Guardians, Winter Soldier. Those are always going to be in my top 10. And Black Panther too. And Ragnarok.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Those are the two movies we always kind of disagree on a lot are the original Iron Man and the first Black Panther. I rank them a bit lower than most people do. I'm gonna just rapid fire go through this because we don't wasting so much time on this practically already. At the bottom, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor: Dark World, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Thor.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yes.
Whoa! Iron Man, the first Iron Man.
I don't like it that much. I don't care about it. I don't think it's bad. I just don't care about it. I don't know why. I don't know why.
You're telling me that you enjoyed Ant-Man Quantumania more than the original Iron Man.
Yeah. Not by much.
All right. I'll see you later, man. Where's Danny? Where's Mike Bongiorno? Come on. What the hell is this bullshit? Quantumania. You're lucky that like 4 people watch this thing, okay? Go ahead.
Where was I? Quantumania?
You just said Iron Man and you ranked it like 20.
Iron Man, Thor, Quantumania, Captain Marvel, first Ant-Man. Shang-Chi, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Age of Ultron, First Cap, Spider-Man: Far From Home, Black Widow, The Marvels, Black Panther, Eternals, Wakanda Forever, Love and Thunder, Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and this is number 11 here. This is where I have Deadpool and Wolverine right now.
11?
Then I have 11. Then I have the first Guardians of the Galaxy at 10. Civil War is 9, Avengers is 8, Guardians 3 is 7, Infinity War is 6, Winter Soldier is 5, Thor Ragnarok is 4, Guardians 2 is 3, Endgame is 2, and No Way Home is 1. You've known that for a long time, though.
Yes. Wow. At some point in us recording, which we've covered from Black Widow on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've covered 11 movies now for including Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
This could be our 11th movie. But I was going to say that like at some point, our rankings like dramatically shifted from each other.
Yeah, I shifted mine even going through this. I was just looking at them again, and I haven't rewatched a lot of these in recent memory. It's just a general feeling. I even did drop Quantumania down a bit. I dropped a bunch of the Phase 4 stuff down a bit. I think I had definitely had some recency bias at the time. And I think maybe looking back a little further and kind of thinking about things, actually thinking about the X-Men movies and the Deadpool adjacent movies that we're ranking, kind of made me rethink a bunch of things, because just having to compare two things that you hadn't before just kind of gives you another perspective to look at.
Of course. Yeah, so you ranked Deadpool and Wolverine as 11, and then I ranked it as 17.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you enjoyed it
Not
more
that
than I did.
far off. Well, I don't know. I don't know necessarily. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have to say off the bat is that I knew too much about this movie beforehand, and I think that really took away from my general experience of it.
Okay. So, like, what you knew, like a lot of the cameos?
Uh, just the general. I guess we didn't. Yeah, I don't think that there was not one cameo that I didn't know about, and I didn't. I mean, yeah. Let's just leave it there. I
What are
wasn't
there?
really seeking them out. They just sort of happened, and I don't know. It's just. I guess I have an issue with willpower. Is looking these things up. I get excited about things. I see someone writing a note about it somewhere. It's like, oh, it's a rumor this time. Maybe it's false. Who knows? And I
Yeah.
just want to know. And I think it's bad. I think it's just bad. I think I would have enjoyed the movie more had I just went in totally blind.
There's one cameo that I had never heard about, and then when I saw that person, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I wasn't expecting that person.
So I unfortunately, so last night they at San Diego Comic-Con they screened the movie for Hall H, and they brought out a bunch of the cameos on stage. I happened to catch a headline. So
Oh,
and the one you're talking about, I had heard it rumored before, but I only heard it one time, so I expected it to be fake. But I saw the name, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess that's real.
yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil the cameos for people that haven't seen it until we get to the spoiler section. And so maybe what we could do now is just kind of give like a general overview of what we thought about the movie, and then we could go like kind of bit by bit through it. So, what did you think in general? Why is it number 11 on your list of 34 movies?
I think it's because that kind of looking at things and moving things around. I think there were some things in here that I really liked, and and one of the questions I wanted to ask you about this is that did you go see this movie more for Deadpool or for Wolverine?
Wolverine, dude.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm kind of throwing it at 11 right now is because it was just really great to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine again.
Yep.
I think I'm riding really high on that. There's a bunch of scenes with him, kind of reflecting on his past that I thought were very good, and that was kind of like the more of the center of the movie for me, I guess.
Yeah.
And although at the same time I feel like it's sort of shallow in a way too because they don't give you that much about information about it.
Oh yeah.
But Hugh Jackman's performance with those scenes were really good to me.
Oh yeah. 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 I feel the exact same way. I was there to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but I'm not a huge fan of the series. I enjoy those movies, but I don't get excited about them. And you'll see on my rankings when we do the Fox movies where I rank the Deadpool movies. When I watched 2 spoiler-free reviews before I watched this movie, and they were talking about how there were some like crazy cameos in this movie, and then they said the movie itself is kind of mediocre. There's not much to it, and that like it has like no connection to the MCU. Like it's not like, oh, you need to watch this so that you can get into phase 6 or anything like that. It's just sort of like this one and done thing.
Wait, are you saying that's a bad point or a good point though?
I think it's this weird paradox, right? Because the reason why a person would enjoy this movie is because it's like, oh, it's that person. Oh, it's that person. They're doing this. And so it's like you have to have watched all these other things to really enjoy it. But yet, like, I would love a standalone movie that didn't really tie into the rest of the MCU, but it told like a really good story. And it was like well made with awesome music and these emotional beats. I would take that. But that's not this movie. There's emotional beats. Let me just get this out of the way, and this isn't necessarily a spoiler. This movie, I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is fun. This is fun. It's kind of what I expected. And then there's one part at the end where one thing happens, and then I'm like, this is fucking incredible. Like,
Oh, okay, yes, okay. I thought you
Okay.
were saying something negative for a second, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, yes. As soon as this one thing happens at the end, I'm like, okay, I'm fucking delighted. This is perfect. I don't care what I just saw. I could, yeah, I'm good now. And it's so sad because like Movie Bob was saying that, if you're the kind of person where they're like, oh, they wore the hat and they said the thing, if like that gets you excited, then this movie is for you. And I kind of was that person. I was like, oh, it's the
This
thing.
isn't a spoiler. This can't be a spoiler, so we could probably say this.
I don't know. I almost kind of feel like, because I did not know this was going to happen. I suspected it, and
No,
then
I knew they had to do it. They just couldn't show you beforehand.
okay.
Are we talking about the same thing?
All right. Let's just do it. We're 15. Wow, we're 15 fucking minutes in, guys.
Yeah.
Spoilers. What am I talking about, Brian?
The Mask.
Yes. It becomes a new fucking movie when he puts on the mask.
Yes, 100%. That was the epitome, the climax of the movie for me. Really, it was that happening.
Yes.
And then that outdid everything else in the movie.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, to see Wolverine in the mask, and it's Hugh Jackman, who's done an incredible job as Wolverine, and he's like moving like Wolverine, where he's like this, and he's like leaping forward. It's just like, oh my God.
I mean, it was probably a lot of that was CGI because
yeah.
But still, it like that was the most Wolverine looking thing we've seen in live action ever.
Yeah. So let's get to that point. Do you want to do our Fox rankings now too, or do you want to kind of talk about the movie and then do our Fox rankings?
Let's go over the movies a little bit. Maybe we can do the Fox rankings at the end or something.
Okay. All right. So let's start off with the movie itself, like when it begins. I realized I didn't send you the notes. I was kind of worried about spoiling the movie for you, so I didn't send it to you right away.
Yeah, no problem.
But
it's already spoiled for me. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go. So right here in the ticker, I say that the movie's more meta than She-Hulk. Like the movie, it's almost pretty much just like a comedy from like the 80s. It's like Wayne's World or something, where the narrator's like just talking right to you, and they're making fun of the film industry and movies, and this is making fun of superhero stuff. Like that's really what this is right from the go.
Yeah, I was really confused here because it feels like, there are so many jokes at the expense of Fox, and it's framing Marvel in a different light, and it's which is a weird thing to say, being that I guess the quality has dipped as of late. It's almost like, I don't want to say Marvel is doing as bad as Fox was towards the end, but I mean they're doing worse. It feels weird to diss them so badly early on, in the state right now, I guess.
Yeah,
where people aren't as excited about things, and people have not been happy with the output of the last phase, essentially.
Yeah. We covered 11 movies, and I would say that out of those 11 movies, people like genuinely liked
2.
2 or 3 if you include this one. Yeah. So that's fucking crazy. I mean, what is that? That's 1/3 of all the movies.
Yeah, and this is this is kind of where I think I'm feeling the fatigue, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to decide if all the cameos, if knowing the cameos beforehand took away from it, or I'm tired of them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a one-upsmanship kind of thing here, and it's just eventually you just get tired of it. It doesn't have the same impact. Like the Mask, that was impactful. That was the thing. But other than maybe one other thing there, it wasn't. Like I didn't really get that crazy feeling.
Yes. I mean, I was going to go through the plot a little bit before I started talking about the cameos, but we keep talking about the cameos. That's what this movie is just the cameos.
Yeah. I have an acquaintance or friend or something that I used to, I haven't talked to in a long time, but he compared this to a Family Guy episode,
Yeah.
Really kind of accurate.
Yeah, no shit. That friend, whoever he is, dude, he's wise. I was gonna say like, I wanted to talk about the cameos in general, and I think that this is a good example of it, right? So, in the middle of the movie, Deadpool and Wolverine find themselves in the wasteland where people from like the Loki show, if you get pruned, you're sent there. They're there, and we hear like we see a guy wearing a cloak, and he's like, "Come over here, you'll be safe over here." And I heard the voice. I'm like, okay, that's Chris Evans. I guess that's going to be Captain America. And I kind of forgot about a lot of the cameos they had talked about. So he jumps down. He's got the beard and stuff, and he's got the dark hair, and it's like, okay, it's Cap. It's just maybe like another version of Cap. But then he fucking, says "flame on."
That was great. That was a great bait in that scene there. I have to say that. Like, the Deadpool's giving the meta commentary. It's like, oh, he's gonna say the thing, Avengers, and he says "flame on."
Yeah,
that was pretty great, to be perfectly honest. And I have to realize I have to keep my voice down because my family has not seen the movie, so I don't want to spoil it.
Hopefully not watching this right now. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, right? It's a gag, right? It's funny and it's cool because it's like, oh, look, we have the same actor. He's played these two different roles. So it's fun. It's a great moment of like, I see what they did there. But then Johnny Storm, he's just kind of there for comic relief. And that's what this whole thing is. It's just comic relief and all jokes. Like the Fantastic Four movies are kind of lame. The Fox Fantastic Four movies. However, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm is one of the highlights of those movies. And
pretty fantastic in the role, honestly.
Pun intended. But it's like, if you actually like that character, if you like what he did there, then what happens to him in this movie is just like, oh, okay, well, I guess he just fucking died as a joke.
So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is this? I feel like towards the end of it, they kind of make this as like a send off to Fox, but they really like had them like take the piss, before that,
Yeah. It's like a roast, but then it's like, oh, but we like you guys though anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like let's just kind of go through. A lot of the tickers I have are just like the cameos. So one of the best parts is Deadpool is like going through the multiverse trying to find a Wolverine to replace the Logan that died in his world. And so the very first fucking one we see is comic accurate Wolverine. It's fucking great.
This was one of my favorite gags, honestly. Yeah. It was pretty perfect, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And yes, Wolverine is that short. So
yeah. It cracked me up. It's funny because I was sitting there, I did a lot of fantasy booking. I'm like, okay, well, they're talking about how awesome the cameos are, and they're talking about they were surprised they could do certain things. There is one that I predicted, but this is one that you predicted from the trailer. There's Patch.
Yes. Patch was very visible in the trailer. Yeah. We got a bunch of, great alternate Wolverines here. We got AOA Wolverine with real crazy hair. I never would have expected that ever.
So that was one of my fantasy bookings ones. I was like, okay, they're saying that there's crazy stuff in this movie you wouldn't expect. I'm like, okay, there's gonna be variants of Wolverine, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. So I did actually predict that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the more famous variants of Wolverine. But still very surprising because that's more of like a comic nerd deep cut. It's not as publicly consumable, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
It's a little out there, They really went out there with the hammer too.
Yeah, and he's just fucking slashing away Deadpool. I kind of love that part. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that the only other ones they show was we got the brown costume, which I actually think looked really good.
Yep.
And honestly, if they go, that's probably the way they need to go for MCU Wolverine. I think that'll work really, really well.
Yeah.
And then we got this one unfortunately was spoiled for me as well, Cavalrine, which they actually list him as in the credit as Cavalrine.
Oh my god. it like threw me off because I'm like, okay, they're not showing his face and he's super muscular. So I was thinking there was going to be some kind of like goofy thing, like how short he was. I thought it was going to be a joke, but then it's like, oh, it's Henry Cavill.
I thought he was going to have like a shrunken face or something, or
right.
I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, that was Henry Cavill. He makes some funny jokes about come to our side, we'll treat you better, which I thought was funny. There are actually some DC jokes in this movie, which is actually kind of funny.
Right. And they mentioned Batman at the end. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I knew that was coming too, so that's unfortunately. I feel like I would have liked that better had I not known about it.
Oh, 1000%. I think I had heard a lot of these casting rumors, but I sort of like just tuned them out, because in the real world, crazy shit's been going on. But there's stuff that's like, I know it's comic accurate, but I'm not 100% sure what it was. There's the Wolverine who's like crucified on an X, and I feel like that's from the Mutant Massacre.
Cover. That's a famous cover, yeah.
But is that?
I don't remember which one it is.
Okay.
Mutant Massacre,
or like Fall of the Mutants,
Yeah, I feel like it's more Fall of the Mutants.
And he's just like he's screaming and stuff. Like it is an amazing visual.
Yeah.
And then the Hulk shows up at one point too. It would have been cool because I think what happens is he's wearing the brown costume when he goes to fight the Hulk, right?
Yes.
So it would have been cool if he had the mask on then, but that's pretty much like they knew what they were doing with the mask. They like saved it for
100%. They saved that as a money shot later on, and it was the most effective thing in the movie.
Oh, I fucking had a money shot at that moment, I'll tell you. So then there was like, because there's so many quick cuts. There's one part where there's like a Wolverine that's like sitting on a porch and he looks like a cowboy. I was like, is that like
I think it's Old Man Logan.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too. But he had a gun, right?
Yeah, I mean that's something Old Man Logan would have been doing prior to at the start of that continuity, because he was just like a farmer.
Well, so did we cover all the Wolverines that were in that sequence?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, like, that's an improvement over Multiverse of Madness, right? Because with Multiverse of Madness, we just have that moment where they're like falling through the multiverse. Then they're just on that one world that's got the fucking pizza balls and the different traffic signs.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a quick thing. It was more of a gag thing, definitely, but it was also nice to have those little nods in there. That was, other than Cavill, I didn't know about any of those things, so that was a nice surprise for me there.
Yeah. So then let's talk about the traveling to the MCU, right? Because that threw me off that he was like applying for a job with the Avengers at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. That's something I didn't know either. But yeah, it's Deadpool's arc in this is pretty good. I think. I would say it might be my favorite of overall here. It's about that kind of found family thing, which is kind of been a recurring theme, but he's essentially looking for his place in the world, and he's at a low point, and the TVA offers him this kind of a dream position, but it's kind of like an impossible choice. It's like you can go be what you want to be, but you have to leave everything behind.
Yeah.
And they will literally be erased from existence, and that's where things go wrong there, and that's where we get the Wolverine searching for Wolverine montage, because Logan was this kind of an anchor point of a universe that kind of holds the fabric of it together. So with Logan dying in Logan, that universe now just would slowly kind of peter out after a few thousand years, apparently. Yeah.
Do you like that idea?
It's an interesting plot mechanic. There's a lot of like MacGuffin-y kind of things here, but in this is one of the lesser offenders in my eyes here. The idea of an anchor being there's a lot of commonalities here with the Loki show and the TVA, but I do feel like it feels different. Like I feel like they didn't follow that show too closely there, and they're kind of playing with in their own sandbox, really, rather than being like a tie-in to the Loki show with that TVA organization there. Oh, even though it is the same characters and people, but it feels adjacent to it rather than a part of it.
Yeah. 1000%. I didn't write down that woman that was in season 1 and season 2. Do you remember her name?
It's just like it's a number. Is it B-15?
Something like that. Yeah. So I mean, like, she's kind of the only continuity because like Paradox was made just for this movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is a comic character, but he was not in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the TVA in general, just like everyone else in this movie, they're just really like cameos. They're not really like a plot point. Like you were talking about MacGuffins a second ago. They essentially introduced the ticking clock of the movie where it's like, oh, well, this world was going to end because the anchor being died. And so now this one guy wants to speed up the process because he doesn't want to just sit around watching a world dying. And they just basically like, well, we don't prune anymore, but we're going to use this one device that's going to destroy the reality quicker. I guess I like that. When it comes to this idea of anchor beings, I feel like that's a very, like, it kind of has to only exist as like a story or like a commentary on a story, right? Because it's kind of like, well, yeah, Wolverine's going to be like the main guy of the X-Men world, right? And maybe like Iron Man is the main guy of the MCU, or it could be like Spider-Man is the main guy now, right? Like, I feel like you can only say something like that if you're making this like meta commentary. And like DC does that, like, because I would feel like Superman is like the anchor person for DC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think what it's more like is the idea of like maybe in the multiverse, there's like almost, I don't know, I don't want to say webs, but like sections of the multiverse that are kind of like, this is the Wolverine section, and this is the Spider-Man section, and this is the, like, you kind of think that too?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Like, this is the Captain America section. So you would think that like Iron Man would actually be the MCU, anchor being, and he's dead.
I mean, if we're, I think that, I mean, we could debate this forever, but it really is almost like a throwaway idea in a sense. But I imagine that if this was a real thing, that anchor being can be transferred or can move on, pass on somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Obviously, lives only last so long, so the world probably existed long before that person, so it's got to pass on in some way, and that's just a guess in general. They don't confirm anything like that. So I like the position that Deadpool is put in here, that he gets something that he feels is lacking, that his purpose is lacking, but he doesn't want to give up his found family. And that choice, I think, is a great thematic choice there. But the fact that Mr. Paradox here just has a MacGuffin that wants to speed up pruning feels, I don't know, it just like his motivation is not great. And it just makes it takes away from the stakes of the movie. Because it just feels like, it almost feels like a cameo of a plot,
Right. I 1000% agree. And it's funny because like the actor that plays them, I forgot his fucking name too, but he plays Tom on Succession, and he's incredible on that show. So it's cool to kind of see him just, go over the top with this role. And then Cassandra Nova, the woman that plays her, is a great actress too that I've been following recently too. So I mean, like, they have these great actors in it. It's just it's like the movie just kind of lacks depth, I feel. Like the only time that it really kind of really clicks is when Wolverine and Deadpool start like working together, and it's kind of like they're working together to save Fox, essentially. That's where it feels like there's some weight or
I completely agree that in general the movie feels very surface level, very superficial, and it just lacks depth overall with few exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, you were giving praise to Wolverine before, and one of the reviews I saw, the guy was like, I think this is my favorite Hugh Jackman Wolverine performance besides Logan. To me, I feel like there's two parts where he really shines. There's one part where he like tells off Wade when they're in the car together, which leads him to have this like prolonged fight in the car. And he's like really fucking nasty when he tells Wade off.
Oh yeah.
But like, honestly, Deadpool was getting on my nerves at that point in the movie too. I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up for a minute, you know?
Yeah. I don't. I wouldn't say he was getting on my nerves in any point in particular, but I think just the character. I think that's just the thing is that it kind of has to lack depth, really. And but at the same time though, the way they've done this is the way the the meta commentary and the breaking the fourth wall stuff. I think that does lead to kind of shallow thing, plots in general, and I feel like that can be said of all three of the Deadpool movies, really.
Yes, yes,
and they all do feel a little more on the shallow side, I think, but they do have those kind of personal moments that sort of pull you in, and I think, you know, that scene in the car was definitely one of them there, where Wolverine kind of lays into him there.
Yeah. Well, but like I feel like the first Deadpool is the best one of them all. I think I ranked it higher than the other ones on my Fox list. But I feel like oh shit, I don't think I put Deadpool and Wolverine on my Fox list. But I was gonna say though is that like that one, he starts off as like Ryan Reynolds, and he goes through this like really horrific origin sequence, which that origin sequence always kind of stuck with me, where he's essentially like tortured into becoming Deadpool. And yeah. I feel like that really had some weight to it, and the way that he loved his girlfriend too in the first one. I know that she's in the second one and she's a big plot point, but she essentially gets fridged in the second one.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. It all feels superficial, and I feel like I was worried that our discussion was going to be just like kind of talking about the cameos and just I don't know. I honestly didn't think there would be much more to our discussion besides how excited we were about the cameos.
Yeah, I didn't know where this was going to go exactly either, but so I mean, this is doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good.
Okay, all right. Well, then I think we should keep going with the cameos and talk about the ones that we find on fucking in the Wasteland, huh?
Yes. So there's a bunch of villains as well here. So okay, so you want to go with the heroes. So we have Fox Electra, we have Jennifer Garner. So we knew that one. That was one of the ones that was like almost publicized in a way.
Yeah.
We then also have Blade.
No, Brian, it's fucking Blade.
Fucking Blade.
Fucking Blade shows up. Like that was good.
This is the one that I only heard like a faint rumor about a long time ago, was never really followed up on. But Channing Tatum is Gambit. And yes. I did not know they were gonna have like this level of comic accurate costume. So that was a little bit of a surprise.
Yes.
But I had heard of that before. And then we all knew about Daphne Keane coming back from the trailer last week.
Yes, exactly.
So
good.
I feel like it was nice to see these things, these characters here in the situation here, but again, totally lacking in depth.
Yeah.
I mean especially with Gambit, it's almost like he's like a joke version of Gambit here, Okay. You can barely understand what he's saying, and they play that up sort of, and it's I would have liked to have seen a more serious take on it, I suppose, but being that we never got the movie, that's the joke. This is the movie that never was. It sort of works, I guess.
No, I mean, like, it's very much like a one-note thing. Like Wesley Snipes walks out as Blade, and I was like, holy shit, it's Blade. But then it's like, that's kind of it. There's nothing really more to it. He doesn't like have any kind of special conversation with Deadpool or anything like that. And then there's just jokes. There's the one part where like he takes out the bazooka and he's like, I got this from the Punisher. And then they say, okay, well, which Punisher is it? There's like 5 of them. And then that's funny, right? And then he shoots the bazooka and he's like, there's only one blade and there's only ever going to be one blade. Like, that's funny.
No, but the camera direction there was spot on with that line. It's like, there's only going to be one blade.
Right. I mean, it's funny, but that's all we are doing is kind of talking about jokes. Now, like Channing Tatum, for instance, I fucking love Channing Tatum. Like, I don't know. Have you seen him in a lot of things where he's like, it's just a straight up comedy?
Yeah, he first came up in popularity with those Step Up movies. or something like that, or it was some other kind of like romantic comedy. But then 21 Jump Street came out, and I loved that first movie.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. And then he started showing all kinds of comedies, and I became a genuine fan after that point there. So I think I can't say that I would have wanted his movie to come out with this performance, but in the context of using him here, I think it works and it was funny.
Yeah, they play him up for laughs. I don't think he would have this like ridiculous accent if they were making a solo Gambit movie, but he is a really funny guy. I've seen Magic Mike multiple times. I think Magic Mike is actually great. I've seen both 21 Jump Street movies. Like I'm trying to think what else. There was something else I was going to reference that he's really good in. Not G.I. Joe, but he's awesome. He's funny. There's this one movie. Coincidentally, it's called Logan Lucky. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's really fucking good. It's by Steven Soderbergh too. But he's got this good comedic timing and stuff. He makes like a cameo in This Is the End or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just kind of like one of those things where it's just like a little funny cameo of like, oh, there's Channing Tatum and he's Gambit. And there's this one fucking line where everyone's like, I was born ready. And then he says something like, I shot out of my daddy's dick or something like that.
No, I didn't know my daddy, but I shot out of his dick.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the hardest laughs out of the fucking movie. Was that and like my mom was all ready and she was buttery or so. He said some kind of shit like that. It's fucking funny as hell.
I didn't joke because I was laughing so hard at the first one.
Right. So I mean, and I was worried that they were all going to die because they did that kind of thing where they're kicking ass at first, then you're cutting over to the scene with Wolverine and Cassandra Nova, then you cut back and they're sort of like struggling. I was like, oh, they're going to die. And then Abeloth, is it called Abeloth? What's the fucking ghost, the smoke thing?
Alioth?
Alive.
I was mispronouncing it my entire existence so far. So
Alive.
Well, Alive is how they were pronouncing it, so let's go with that.
Yeah, so Aliath shows up, and I was like, oh, fuck, they're all going to get eaten. But they kind of did it in such a way where it's like Aliath shows up, but you don't see them getting destroyed. So they even at the end of the movie imply that like the TVA could rescue them.
Yeah, so we only see one of them there, I believe. I only saw X-23 after the fact. I didn't notice any of the others being there. So,
at the party at the end, yeah.
But it's still kind of implied that they might have died because Aliath was eating the place as Wolverine and Deadpool left.
Yeah. I don't know, but that was one of the things that kind of like, see, it's like the kind of movie you can't just stop and think about and like analyze because Aliath just like shows up to their camp, I guess like kills people, but doesn't destroy like the area itself. It just like kills people.
Yeah, they're kind of implying that they kind of like feed him people every so often. And because he shows up earlier too when they Wolverine and Deadpool first get away there, they kind of rocket off on that leg. Wow, which I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. An Iron Man leg, a Sentinel leg. I don't know.
Yeah, one of those two. Yeah. But we haven't even mentioned. Well, we have mentioned her, but like Cassandra Nova, she's the one that's running this camp. And boy, whoever wrote this movie, of which there's 5 fucking writers for this movie, one of those 5 writers was definitely inspired by that panel where Cassandra Nova has her fingers going through that guy.
Yep. But again, though, other than that, I feel like Cassandra Nova is lacking in depth here. There's not enough really room for her to do much or have much motivation, which kind of sucks because I really do like her from New X-Men.
I love Cassandra Nova. Yeah. I mean, I think they were also implying that she was essentially born in the wasteland.
I wasn't sure about that. It's kind of muddy there. So like we have a couple villains here that are actually reprising their roles, and a few that are just stand-ins that look slightly different. I guess they're from different realities. Like the Juggernaut is not Vinnie Jones. I don't think that was the same as Zazel. There's a Lady Deathstrike stand-in there, but there's no way that was Kelly Hu because they didn't give her any lines. And I want to say that there was the X3 Psylocke there.
Oh,
that might have actually been her. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Pyro was definitely Pyro. That was definitely Tyler Mane, Sabretooth.
Wait. The X3 Psylocke, or isn't Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse?
Well, that's Olivia Munn, and it's definitely not that version. But there was like a character that had purple hair that sort of was like a Psylocke analog. Because there was all those Brotherhood mutants that were like, there was a multiple man, and there was a guy that was almost like Spike from the X-Men Evolution cartoon, and there was a weird Callisto. Like it was one of those kind of people that you kind of always assumed it was supposed to be that character, but you weren't. They were never named or anything.
Gotcha. So, yeah, it's great to see all those villains. And, we go have this sequence where, like, Sabretooth and Wolverine are going to fight, and then Wolverine just kind of cuts off his head. It was good. I actually really like the actor that plays Pyro, and he was pretty good in this. He was sort of, like, double-crossing Cassandra Nova. And then it was cool. Like, one of the things that got me excited, this is just because I'm a comic book freak, is, like, Blade was fighting Toad at one point. Like, it was cool to have, like, because there's sort of these, like, disposable characters that the heroes were taking out. But then, like, to see, like, oh, it's this character from this movie series and it's this character from this movie series fighting. Like, that's exciting to me,
Yeah.
But I'm just worried that that's what this is all going to become,
Yeah, and that's kind of what it was there. One of the other cool little things there was I liked X-23, how she takes down Juggernaut. It was pretty.
Yeah, he's not like the Marvel Comics Juggernaut.
No, not like the Juggernaut from the Deadpool movie, from Deadpool 2. It's the Vinnie Jones X3 version. Yeah. I'm the Juggernaut bitch, but it wasn't Vinnie Jones, unfortunately. So
yeah. So I was going to ask you, what do you think that Wolverine actually did in his world?
This is another thing that I felt was on the shallow side. So they kind of set up that they're gonna come back to it in like an act 3 cutscene or cutaway or something like that. And they all I really took away from it is that someone came in and killed the X-Men. It sounds like humans came for the X-Men. And
dude, I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't realize like our friends are actually saying stuff on the side here.
Oh, they are? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God, there's people here.
Yeah. I'm so used to there not being people here. Brian, I want you to make your point, and then we'll do these comments from Mike and stuff.
They were very vague about what Wolverine happened to make him the worst Wolverine in existence. So they're saying that humans came and killed all the X-Men, and he just kind of walked away and didn't help. They even imply that he's hearing people screaming in the background, and he just walked away and didn't help. That's all we kind of got. I wish it was something a little more than that. It's almost kind of lame. It's like, oh, some humans killed the X-Men.
Yeah.
Give me something a little bit more than that. But again, it's more of a throwaway point here, and it's more about him overcoming his failures. So that's the point, and that's what Hugh Jackman really hammers home well in this movie.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and like I said earlier in the video, like by the third act, I'm all on board with that Wolverine, but I wasn't feeling him until he really started to fight with Deadpool in the car. That was when it's like, oh, okay, I like this Wolverine. And then it like at the very end, I was like, yeah, give me more of this Wolverine. But let's do some of the comments that some of the people said. So Mike from Pop Culture Man Children, he said, it was an enjoyable ride. I laughed a lot. I gasped at some stuff, but thinking about it just one day later, it's clear to me this is barely a movie. I doubt I'll watch it again. That's Mike.
I feel like this is a really good like have it on in the background kind of movie.
Yes.
Like you turn your head for like the big points, and you kind of just listen to it in the background.
Yeah, as much as I love Andor, I don't really like Rogue One, but I could watch that Darth Vader part at the end hallway sequence. Like I could watch that over and over again. I feel like with this movie, I don't know if I would want to watch the whole movie through, but I would definitely watch when Wolverine puts his fucking mask on and watch that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, our buddy, co-host of the Lassercast, Danny Torkel, says just walked out of theater. I think the MCU palette needed cleansing. So I guess, do you think he's implying that this movie cleansed his palette?
I don't know. Danny, elaborate, please. Oh, that was half an hour ago. He's gone.
Yeah, we might have lost both of them.
Yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know, because I feel like while it was trying to be a commentary on overbloating of and the over reliance on multiversal stuff,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It kind of does the same thing. So I wouldn't really consider it a palate cleanser here. To me, this is a send off of the Fox X-Men, to the point where I'm questioning if we even will see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool again. Maybe in like a cameo kind of capacity in one of these Avengers Secret Wars movies that are rumored. Oh, I don't know what they decided to change, but I feel like we're not going to get another Deadpool movie.
I don't think we're going to get another Deadpool movie. And one of the things that I kept thinking about when I was watching this was I was like, well, we're actually not going to get like Patrick Stewart or anybody in this movie, because this is supposed to take place post Logan, and all the fucking X-Men are dead, you know?
Well, I mean, they could say that they're all different from different worlds and things like that. And also, you have to consider too that it could be from a different time point, because the end of the Marvels really is what you need to look at with Beast. That's clearly before any of the stuff in Logan happened.
Right. You stole my point, because basically what I was going to say was that, like, I thought that what Secret Wars would be like the MCU and the X-Men, Fox X-Men universe kind of colliding the way that in the comics, the regular Marvel universe and the Ultimate Universe collide, right? That's what starts off Secret Wars. I thought that's what was going to happen. But then I was like, wait a minute, if this takes place post Logan, then like all these fucking people are dead. Like Cyclops is dead, Professor X is dead, Jean Grey is dead, all of them are dead. And I almost kind of feel like that world that
but the thing too is that it doesn't line up. The events of Deadpool can't be post Logan. They can't be. That has to be in the future.
Yeah. Well,
I can't imagine Logan and Deadpool being in the same time frame.
Right. Agreed. They do say the fucking dates and everything in this movie. Like in the beginning when he goes to go get a job, it's 2018 in the MCU. Then they say 6 years later, and that's when he's digging Wolverine's corpse out of the ground.
Okay.
But still, like 2018 plus 6 is our time.
I always got the vibe that Logan took place a decent number of years into the future, even from when it was. So it was 2017, 2018 at the time. Like, right. I imagined it took place 20 years later, something like that, maybe.
I was going to say 10, but yeah, sure. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's all confusing. And I mean, it doesn't help that like Deadpool was able to travel around in time. And they actually do address that in this movie too. They say that like he used Cable's time machine and then he destroyed it.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool too. But we didn't talk about all the other Deadpools in this movie too. Did you like that?
I liked I liked Dogpool. I thought that was a funny little gag here. I didn't think the Deadpool with the Ryan Reynolds face was all that funny or anything.
Right.
But and then the Deadpool Corp was weird.
Yes.
They make a reference to them. They put Lady Pool in a lot of the recent promo material, and then there's not much to any of them. I wasn't even sure who it was by the end of the movie, but I mean, apparently it actually was Blake Lively. So.
Right. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of recognizable Deadpools in that group. Like, I'm sure
How the hell was there not an Uncanny X-Force Deadpool there?
Well, there was a Deadpool that had that kind of coloring, but he was like a samurai or something too.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. They did have Deadpool 2099 in there.
Oh, that was the futuristic looking one. I don't think I've ever seen the character before, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I read Deadpool 2099. It was written by Jerry Duggan, and there's like 2 girl Deadpools, and one of them is the one that's in this movie. One of them is like his daughter. I can never remember if it's like his just sort of like adoptive daughter or if it's like his biological daughter. And then I can't remember who the other one is, but that's who that character is. And the fucking cowboy Deadpool, I think that's Matthew McConaughey, right?
Oh, is it? I couldn't tell.
I thought it sounded just like him. You're right. That the fucking nice Deadpool or whatever his name was, like Kind Pool, he wasn't that funny, but he does do one really fucking funny thing where he's like, "Oh, you can break the fourth wall. I can kind of do that too." And he turns, he says,
Yeah.
"The proposal." I fucking love that.
That was one of my favorite gags. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, there's so much to talk about with this movie, but I think that Mike and Danny kind of, it just sounds like everyone in general feels like this movie's fun. It's got these crazy kind of cameo moments, but there's not a lot to it. Did you want to bring in anything else about this movie?
No, that's essentially how I feel about it. Even with, with the ending too, it felt it was a little I don't know. Like it was, I guess, predictable. It was maybe slightly anticlimactic at the same time. It wasn't really a confrontation necessarily, and I guess that probably needed to be the way it needed to be, because that was, these characters bonding by the end of the movie is a high point, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just there wasn't that much depth, wasn't a lot of stakes. No, a universe was at risk here. It just didn't feel as impactful as I guess it should have.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, but it's funny when they do face off against all those Deadpools. Deadpool looks at the camera and says, not the multiverse anymore. He says something like that, like, people aren't into it. He says something like that, like about the multiverse. Yeah. We tried it, didn't really have a lot of success,
but they're still doing it anyway. So, yeah, it's like it's a weird commentary to make when you're still doing it yourself, when you're still guilty of it,
Still in the middle of it, yeah. Well, so then should we go to our rankings of the Fox movies?
Yeah, let's do it here.
Now, Brian, the good news is this one I actually have in order, like where it's numbered and it's going in order. So,
okay. So you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You want to go first since like I did it last time?
So, I have to say here, so we're adding in, if a character was referenced or in this movie, we added that franchise to this ranking. So while we'll have Daredevil and Elektra, we're not gonna have Ghost Rider. I had to remove two movies here. I did not see the more recent Josh Trank Fan Four Stick, and I did not see Punisher Warzone. So those are not in my rankings here. I also didn't put in a Hulk movie. I think we kind of decided it was probably the MCU Hulk anyway, but I didn't include a Hulk movie here. So I basically added the Fantastic Four, I added Punisher, and I added Blade to this, and Daredevil to this this ranking of X-Men movies. So at the bottom, I have Blade Trinity. I really, really did not like that movie. Next to that, very close, Elektra. I did not like Elektra at all. We get into the X-Men movies here. So then I have X3. I have Dark Phoenix. I have Wolverine Origins. Then I have Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. It's been a long time since I've seen those movies, but it was kind of hard to do this. I then have Daredevil, and I really did not like Daredevil, but our friend Chris, he swore up and down for years saying that the director's cut makes it way better, and I totally agree. I finally gave in, and I agree. They had a lot more courtroom stuff there. It makes the movie a lot better to me. So Daredevil's there. Then I have the Wolverine. I have X-Men Apocalypse. I have the first Fantastic Four. Then I have New Mutants, Deadpool 2, the first Blade, the first X-Men, the first Deadpool, the Thomas Jane Punisher.
Wow, that's high.
I love that movie.
Really?
Love that movie. Then I have Blade 2. Then I have this movie, Deadpool and Wolverine here. And again, I'm really banking a lot of this on just the fact that with Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine here. That's really carrying this movie to that ranking. Then I have X2, First Class, Logan, and then at the top, Days of Future Past.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Our lists are very similar. There's I don't think there's like a drastic difference in our lists. But it's interesting that you put Days of Future Past over Logan.
Yeah, it was a good melding of both those universes, I think. And again, it's just we didn't know when Wolverine was coming back, and he came back in that. So I just like Wolverine, I guess.
I fucking love Wolverine too. He's always in my top 10 favorite X-Men, top 10 favorite Marvel characters. Let me do my 21 movies because I have not seen Elektra. I've not seen Punisher Warzone.
Wait, yes, you did. We saw it. We started this together, didn't we?
We did not.
Are you kidding me?
No, I've never seen Elektra. We saw Daredevil together. We absolutely saw Daredevil together. I did not.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen Elektra.
Well, trust my judgment here. I know we don't agree on everything, but trust me, it was bad.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know it was bad. Yeah. All right. Number 21, Fan Stick, because I did see that one. 20, okay. Dark Phoenix. I fucking hate Dark Phoenix. I think it is a lame ass movie with this great cast, but it's just lame. Blade Trinity. New Mutants. I was actually surprised you saw that one, New Mutants.
Oh, did we review New Mutants?
I don't know. Then I have number 17, Fantastic Four. 16, Daredevil. 15 is where I have that Thomas Jane Punisher movie. Okay. 14, X-Men Apocalypse. 13, X-Men Origins Wolverine. 12 is Deadpool 2, because I'm not as huge a fan of this franchise as other people. Rise of the Silver Surfer is 11. The Wolverine is 10. X-Men The Last Stand. I think this is where we had like a difference in opinion. I actually have that as number 9. Deadpool I have as number 8. The original X-Men movie, number 7. Blade, the first one, I have number 6. X-Men 2 I have as number 5. Days of Future Past is where we have some differences. Days of Future Past is number 4. X-Men First Class is number 3. Logan is number 2. And my number 1, because you had us add Blade, is Blade 2.
Blade 2 is so good.
I fucking love Blade 2. Blade 2 is on my top 10 list of movies of all time for me.
Blade 2 is a great movie.
Guillermo del Toro making Marvel superhero movies. Please give me more.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say, like, I had to comment about the Wolverine too. Again, director's cut, a bit better than the theatrical. It just really, the end of it is so ridiculously dumb that it just really drops it down. If I was ranking, the first like 75% to 80% of the movie, it would be a lot higher, I think. But the ending of it is so dumb.
Yeah. I know. I totally agree. And then this guy, Karthik, he has a great point. Why does Marvel dislike the Fantastic Four characters? They force them to make cameo appearances, then kill them brutally in the film. I agree. Like, you could have done something with Johnny. It's just, it's not that type of movie. Like, there's not a lot of like serious drama,
which we've been saying.
What's that?
There's no depth, like we've been saying. Everything was a gag, really.
Everything was a gag, exactly. If there was any kind of like stakes, or if the movie was serious, then we could give that Johnny Storm the respect that he deserves. But everything was just a joke. It's like your friend said, just like a long episode of Family Guy. Yeah. Okay, man. So do you have anything else you want to say about Deadpool and Wolverine?
One quick thing is I really appreciated the credit sequence. Not the gag I'm talking about, which was also pretty funny, honestly. I really do love Chris Evans in the comedic roles.
Oh shit, yeah.
But I'm talking about, and this was why I was so confused here, because they just made fun of Fox the entire time. Really, I guess maybe this is the way of making up for it. But that little montage of all the behind the scenes stuff from all those characters and all the films and the movies was really nice to see. Yeah. And then I got a little more emotional about it than I expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're playing, I think it's a little cliche to be playing the Green Day song, Time of Your Life, but it works. It works with that montage.
Yeah.
I don't think we can count the Blade Trinity with these movies. And then is Punisher a Fox? Was it a Fox property?
No, that was Lionsgate. Yeah. The only Fox movies were Daredevil, Elektra, Fantastic Four, and X-Men.
Yeah. So with that being said, there was like 18 of these movies? My math might be a little off.
God, I have no idea, because we got to count.
Wait, 21 minus 3. That's the Blade movies. Then take out Punisher. That's 21 minus 3 is 18.
Oh, 3 Blades, 2 Fantastic Fours, that's 5. 2 Daredevil movies, that's 7. 2 Punishers, That's I can't do math. Did I ever say Punisher?
Yeah, but
Twice?
I was just saying like just the Fox Marvel movies, not like
Just,
take out Blade, take out Punisher.
okay, just the Fox Marvel movies. Because I can't count the X-Men movies that quickly, but it's plus 2 Fantastic Fours and plus 2 Daredevils.
Yeah, 2 Daredevils.
3 Fantastic Fours. Sorry.
Oh, right, because they had the stupid fucking remake. But anyway, like, it just, it is a lot. And there's a lot of really good talent in these movies. Some of the casting choices were, like, superb for the fucking Fox X-Men movies.
Yeah. No, the young cast they got for those, for Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse were really good.
Yeah.
It's just the movies weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. That's maybe one of the worst. Like, this great actor, great character, just ugh.
Really, just the costume design there, really, really terrible choice.
Yeah. So maybe that might be the good thing. The silver lining from all this is that Marvel can do something better with it this next time around.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what the MCU holds in store here for the X-Men. I'm hopeful we'll hear some news about something that at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. I doubt it. I think the big thing's going to be something Fantastic Four. Did you see that the drones of the drone presentation teaser?
No, what are you talking about?
They had some drones in San Diego that had Galactus's head kind of rising up, and then they had the 4 symbol, and they said Hall H Saturday. So I imagine we're going to have a panel for that. Although I could swear they only just started filming this month. I can't imagine they have any footage. But
I think they just started filming like 2 days ago.
Something like that, yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know what they can show here, but I'm hoping they'll give us a date or a title or something X-Men related, because I want to see an X-Men with depth. I want a live action X-Men 97, basically. I want the equivalent of that. So
fuck yeah. Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine. I got one last comment from Karthik. He agreed with you too, man. He said Days of Future Past is the best.
Everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Karthik. Thanks, Mike and Danny, as always, too. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel too. Join us for the discussion, and we will see you guys next time.